List of sovereign states.
This list of sovereign states provides an overview of states around the world, with information on their status and recognition of their sovereignty. The 206 states listed are divided into. The membership within the United Nations system column divides the states into 3 categories: 193 member states, 2 observer states, and 11 other states. The sovereignty dispute column indicates states whose sovereignty is undisputed, 190 states, and states whose sovereignty is disputed, 16 states. Compiling a list such as this can be a difficult and controversial process, as there is no definition that is binding on all the members of the community of nations concerning the criteria for statehood. For more information on the criteria used to determine the contents of this list, please see the Criteria for Inclusion section below. The list is intended to include entities that have been recognized to have de facto status as sovereign states, and inclusion should not be seen as an endorsement of any specific claim to statehood in legal terms.
Criteria for inclusion.
The dominant customary international law standard of statehood is the declarative theory of statehood that defines the state as a person of international law if it possess the following qualifications: a permanent population, b. a defined territory, c. government, and d. a capacity to enter into relations with the other states. Debate exists on the degree to which recognition should be included as a criterion of statehood. The declarative theory of statehood, an example of which can be found in the Montevideo Convention, argues that statehood is purely objective and recognition of a state by other states is irrelevant. On the other end of the spectrum, the constitutive theory of statehood defines a state as a person under international law only if it is recognized as sovereign by other states. For the purposes of this list, included are all states that either a. consider themselves sovereign, through a declaration of independence or some other means, and are often regarded as satisfying the declarative theory of statehood, b. are recognized as a sovereign state by at least one UN member state. Note that in some cases there is a divergence of opinion over the interpretation of the first point, and whether an entity satisfies it is disputed. On the basis of the above criteria, this list includes the following 206 entities. 203 states recognized by at least one UN member state, 2 states that satisfy the declarative theory of statehood and are recognized only by non-UN member states, Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, Transnistria, 1 state that satisfies the declarative theory of statehood and is not recognized by any other state, Somalia.